Go.
Hi, I'm Megan Drury and this is my presentation of the script about Epiphany for Mike, and it's called Expectations. So if we go to the summary of the plot, it's about a boy who finds himself really lost and kind of realises that he's always been let down in life. At the moment he's going through a really rough patch in his life, and his mother has recently passed away and nobody seems to be there for him. He soon comes to a crossroads in his life and doesn't really know where to turn. This is where a mysterious girl comes in his life, trying to make him look at his life more in depth and kind of taunts him about his life, which kind of drives him a bit crazy. He begins noticing people don't really meet up to his expectations. This is why I call this script Expectations, because that's his epiphany. People don't really meet up to his expectations. As the story goes on, Austin quickly falls down the rabbit hole, a bit like Alice in Wonderland. And the thing about falling down the rabbit hole is you come out a changed person because you've had an epiphany, basically. So will Austin come to terms with everything before he falls too far?
Wait. You. No. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's enough.
Okay then.
Yeah, go.
Okay, so the leading character is Austin. He's the main character. He has dark hair, big eyes and a really nice build. He tends to wear a long black coat and boots with everything he kind of wears, and has that rocket indie look about him. He's a really kind-hearted boy who used to be a bit of a geek in primary school, but he's really quiet and keeps himself to himself, which didn't really used to be the case. He has low self-esteem and tends to be in a world of his own. And my next leading character is the mysterious girl. Her name's Rose, but throughout the script you won't really hear her name. This is because I kind of want the audience to question her appearance throughout the short film, wondering why she's really there, and because she's kind of part of Austin's imagination, kind of want to keep that unreal effect to her and kind of that mystery about her. She is really indie looking again, really tall, thin, pretty. She has long brown hair and has a really nice quirky look about her. Throughout the script she's trying to make Austin look at his life more clearly and in depth, but that takes an unexpected toll on Austin. The relative of Austin is Austin's dad. He's really tall in shape, has brown hair and wears designer clothes. He's really fake and Barbie, who's really never there, and he cares more for money than he does for Austin and doesn't really pay much attention to Austin. He really finds it hard to be around Austin after after the death of Austin's mother, because Austin looks like his mum, and he doesn't really know how to be a father to Austin now. He dresses in really nice clothes and is a really general businessman. And then there is a friend of Austin, James. James is a really popular rich guy. He's really tall and skinny, but he thinks of himself before anyone first. James isn't really in Austin's life except for the fact he always will let Austin down. He tends to kind of sell drugs as well, extra on the side, so he's kind of a bad influence. He did used to be there for Austin and a really good friend, but kind of decided that his life was too important and always puts himself first.
Not even filmed it. Go.
Okay, so how the script meets the criteria of the brief. It meets because it will fit into this time slot, which will be 8 to 10 minutes long. It matches a specific age certificate, which is 12A, and children kind of grow up too quickly now, so they might get epiphanies kind of young, at a young age, and also there won't be any violence or bad language throughout filming.
Go.
Okay, so the genre I picked is psychological drama. I think it will really grab a lot of people's attention for my specific target audience. I also think it adds to the viability of the script, and there is a lot of there isn't a lot of psychological dramas which target a young adult audience.
Get on my computer.
Go.
Okay, so my target audience applies to 16 to 21-year-olds, basically young adults. anyone who really has felt like they don't really belong, or has felt or feels like they're a bit lost in life. The reason that my target audience is 16 to 21 year olds is mainly because everyone kind of tries to find themselves around this age. They're learning things, and they kind of do go through like an epiphany throughout this age. So this is why my target audience ranges the age range of 16 and 21 year olds. And I think the story will attract a mainstream crowd and also a niche target audience, so that's kind of my target audience.
Go.
Okay, so for my locations, the first one I'm going to show you is on top of the Arndale Centre overlooking Greater Manchester. The view on top of the Arndale Centre overlooking Greater Manchester is very thought-provoking, and I think it could be quite airy at night, which is kind of what I'm looking for. I plan to shoot on twilight, which can be really quickly because it's a short period of time to shoot, but I think it'll be easier as I don't have to get all the lighting in and there'll be the right light there. I plan to shoot my first and second last scene in this location, but when I'm shooting it will all be shot at once, so get that out of the way. It will also set the mood for the short film. My second one is John Lee Park. On the two images there's one of the bench, it's in winter, and the other one's of autumn, which is like the vibe I'm going for, but they're the two pictures of John Lee Park. It would be great to shoot this in kind of like November time when the seasonal leaves have fallen to set like the mood. I plan to shoot kind of like a montage of like life passing by here on the bench park. I think it will set a good mood to my short film, and it will give it kind of like that good effect going through it so people don't get bored whilst watching it. Okay, so my third location will be Piccadilly Metrolink platform. I've got a couple of scenes at this platform in particular. And my last one will be Austin's house. His house is located in Altrincham and is available for shooting. Also, it's a perfect location for the script as it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so Austin's house is Austin's house, and the location is set in Altrincham and is very well available for shooting. It's kind of like a perfect location to shoot as well for Austin's house because it's very very identical to the script's location and description of how the house would be. It's by a main road and matches the script's description of the house, as I said before. So
Go.
So finally, this leads me to my conclusion. My conclusion is...
Go.
So finally, this leads me to my conclusion. My conclusion is that even though the experiences in the script are completely different to mine and completely more dramatic compared to mine, I can understand what the main character Austin is going through. So with the fact that he realises that you can't really... people can't come up to your expectations, otherwise you're always going to be let down, and I came to that epiphany, and this is a lot more darker and, you know, a bit more, you know, dramatic compared to my epiphany, but hopefully people can relate. Also, because I can relate to it, I see myself really passionate about the story and I can see myself really, really passionate about the story. Also, it brings the audience aware of teenage suicides, which is caused by different situations. And in the script, Austin commits suicide, but it's all a dream, so he doesn't. But he realises after he kind of does it in the dream, which is so vivid that it was the wrong thing to do, that everything could be sorted out, and that's where the epiphany lies. And I think teenage suicides should gain more awareness, as they're so common, and I think it would add to the viability. I think the whole story appeals to my target audience, as it's kind of like a coming of age story, so a lot of people can relate. And it kind of brings kind of like a dark and dramatical style to the table. And that's my presentation on Expectations and Epiphany.